Everyone, I have a really special coffee for this week's Secret Stash release, and that is a coffee from Aviary, which is a brand new roaster coming out of Cleveland, Ohio. So this coffee here is a washed Chiroso from Colombia, and it is amazing. It is so clean, so structured, and super, super sweet. So if you've ever had a Chiroso, you often will find a lot of lovely maple syrup sweetness in it. This is one of the first times we've been able to feature a coffee that has this level of syrupy sweetness. So let's get right into brewing and tasting it, and I'll tell you guys about what I think. But this is a very, very clean coffee, super straightforward, easy to brew. Let's go ahead and do that. Wow, smells great. We've had a lot of really advanced processed coffees that are quite expressive. This is a coffee that is a wash coffee that is, I would say, equally, if not more expressive. And it's a bit because of how strong Aviary's sourcing is, but also their roasting style. So this is a very transparent roast. So if you've been paying attention to any of the recipes I've been making for the past few releases on Secret Stash, you find out that I really like 1:17 ratio. Some of these coffees can actually be pushed pretty hard. So I'm brewing at the hottest temperature, I'm grinding pretty fine, doing a bit of agitation, and I'm letting a lot of these coffees trying to open them up, if that makes sense. So trying to pull out a lot of those delicacies, a lot of that acidity, and really make these coffees very dynamic in the brewing method. So I find out that a lot of these coffees do really well in that 1:17 ratio, but definitely would recommend you guys play around with things. Definitely can see a case for this coffee to go to something, say like a 1:16, and grind even finer, and it has a slightly different expression. But I think the recipe that you guys are gonna get with this coffee is just a very good baseline recipe for this roasting style and for a lot of these cleaner wash coffees that you want to push out some of those delicate acidities. Okay, this is done. All right, let's give this a taste. Wow, super, super expressive. A lot of citrus in here. Sweet, like maple syrup. If you've ever tried smelling, you pour like syrup over pancakes, that's kind of what this smells like. And that's what a lot of really nice sweet Chirosos exhibit, this type of sweetness, especially in the aromatics. Structure. So much structure of acidity and sweetness, and they're equally there. Really, really long linger of syrup. It's kind of like a maple syrup that's just on my tongue. If you've seen some of the past few Secret Stash videos, you definitely see I like to use the words structured acidity. This does have structured acidity, but what's interesting is it has structured sweetness. There is this heavy syrup that is just there. Even when it's hot and when it cools down, it's just there. It exists throughout the cup, and it's really coating your tongue. But while this coffee does cool down, there is this nice, also structured citrus that comes up. So you're getting like citrus into some maple syrup. It's really sweet. It's really good. I like this a lot. This also is very expressive of a coffee. So it's not just like, oh, here's acidity and then it's gone. There is a very dynamic acidity in this brew that then kind of transitions into this very, very big sweetness. And that's kind of what this brewing style or this recipe is trying to do. You take a sip, you get that citrus acidity, and then it goes right into this really nice maple syrup, syrupiness that just is structured, and it's there all the way throughout the cup, and it leaves nice and sweet. So that's what this tastes like. Now, if you do pick this coffee up, I do recommend you rest it, and you can enjoy this coffee across the next 3 to 4 weeks, and it is gonna taste great. It might even taste more expressive at week 3 or week 5 versus when you get it in this week's shipment. This type of transparent roasting style is incredible for expressing coffees, but also it's really fun to taste a coffee across of many, many days, across 3 to 4 weeks, and see how the dynamics and sweetness and everything in this cup change. Wow, this coffee is expressive, it's so sweet, and it is Also very, very clean. So, you know, we've had releases on Secret Stash that are pretty clean, but I would say this is one of the cleanest coffees we have released, and I am very happy to be featuring Aviary for this week's Secret Stash. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video. If you have any questions on the X Bloom, on Secret Stash, or our new fancy drink global coffee marketplace, let us know and we'll get back to you. But otherwise, thank you, and we'll see you next week.